Dr. S. Thompson stands prepared to turn out his own brand of twisted craziness. If any of you would like to know more about this twisted craziness, there is a table at the back of the ballroom featuring his books such as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, and his newest book, The Curse of Lono. Today is the first of 8 nationwide dates that our guest will be doing. We are very honored to be the first stop, and we're very honored. UCLA is honored to host a man who was described by William F. Buckley as eliciting the same kind of admiration one would feel for a streaker at Queen Victoria's funeral.
Well, I'd like to be as high as that introduction would indicate that should be. The bum rap, come out of noon, have to go out straight crap like this. I understand that a lot of fascistes, neo-Nazis in the audience. Well, that's good. Last time I was here, it was a more, kind of wimpy liberal. Good to know that you people have finally gotten stride. But Moonies, many Moonies, right? All right, well, give me a minute or two.
The election business, the 84 elections, you seem to have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I've been brooding on the elections. How many people plan to vote in the presidential election this year? This is a rough
Great.
It only encourages them.
And do I assume properly that most of you who plan to vote are going to vote for Reagan? Anybody here vote for Jesse Jackson, for instance? I want to get a fix on the mood of the crowd. Yeah, so it may be necessary. Question here that asks which candidate I think to be most qualified. And following that is Mondale and a note saying, is he the prostitute he appears to be? Kind of a circle. I like Mondale, actually. I would vote for him. But I think really in this election, the only person who's going to beat Reagan, and that does interest me, is Reagan himself. And I believe that process began about 2 weeks ago with the Lebanon business. And in my case, it's sort of a situation of my worst fear is being confirmed, where you think the president is nuts. He is a senile, giddy old man. He thinks of himself as some weird cross between John Wayne and the Sun King. They basically not on my side. I rarely thought the president really is on my side. But in this case, I know precisely when Ed meets a former prosecutor in Berkeley in the 60s, who had a lot of grudges to settle, for sure. And he's appointed Attorney General, and when this a genuine fascist, a working Nazi out of Colorado, Joe Coors. He's even half considered to replace me as the person who works with Reagan on a day-to-day basis in the White House. I think he was turned down, even though he put a billboard outside of the window that Reagan could see out. He looked sweeping as a gaze, sweeping across the lawn. There's a Coors billboard somewhere, just to remind him that. But I think we're talking about a situation that is going to clearly get more dangerous, because I don't believe this president can accept any more humiliations by Arabs. I'm sure, the division of the president of Egypt standing in the press room of the White House, flogging the president, and insisting that the Israelis must leave Lebanon and that the PLO, in fact, must come back in, was an unusual one. And I don't think that, I think basically that people in this country will accept a fascist president, as long as he does a good job. And you get the thing, say, comparing Grenada to Lebanon. Nobody argued about Grenada, and it really wasn't an ugly war, not a war at all. But I don't think people in this country were ready to see us chased out of the Middle East and to have the president hiding in some weird compound in Santa Barbara. The entire week, people appearing on the TV screen with their black bars across their eyes, his advisors. No one wanted to take responsibility for that policy. And all you could see of the president was the far end of some telescopic lens, half-white horse running in circles with this old man clinging to him. Larry Speaks, meanwhile, in the White House, trying to make sense of what the president either wanted to say or couldn't. Because the Joint Chiefs of Staff had, in effect, overruled him on Lebanon. And it's very dangerous to have a president who is even more militant and more demented than the generals that we... I think that was basically your bottom line right-wing militarist, and every one of them was opposed all along, and then publicly, to the Lebanese fiasco. And I think 4 more years of that, of using the military for political purposes, would be, as a gambler, I would bet that we would not get away with it. Because one more defeat like Lebanon, which we're looking for right now, would be trying to warn the Iranians to not blow up the Straits of Hormuz and kill off half the world's oil supply. We're committed to doing something there, and that something could be the use of tactical nuclear weapons. Because we clearly can't fight these Arabs. There are not enough Marines to go in there and control the Lebanese. And these new missile launching destroyers, they call it, the cost of $50 billion or $1 billion at least, 50 of them, have a success ratio in target practice of something like 1 in 19 shots. We're you saw what happened with Lieutenant Goodman. They sent planes in after the battleships couldn't hit the target, and the planes were shot down. So and looking back to Carter's invasion of Iran the first time, we were trying to get the hostages out. We've had bad luck in the Middle East. It's it's an open question whether the country would vote for war if it came up as a proposition of a ballot. I'm not sure, but I think there would not be much of a vote in favor of a losing war. And I think that's the point we've come to with Reagan, where if he's not fighting winning war, that's fine. But the evidence suggests he's not going to, and therefore we have to consider another hideous defeat and bringing nuclear weapons into it. I've been talking for way too long. Let me.
Well, can we talk about the Pulitzer story that was in Rolling Stone a while back? And, can you give us any follow-up remarks on that, or just some of your basic impressions of what you saw down in West Palm Beach, Florida?
It's hard for me to even talk about that without massive amounts of drugs. How much my body aches for massive injections of drugs at this early in the morning. That was one of the most fun stories I've ever been involved in. But these were really world-class degenerates. Yeah! I'm feeling better already. Let's take a break here, man. It was nice to Palm Beach and get deeply involved with people who really were prepared to go right off the all the time. I have dealt over the years with a lot of dope fiends, a lot of fiends of all kinds. People who are given success. But I don't think ever, I'm thinking to perhaps in Australia, before they really knew what cocaine was, there were only 2 people in the country who sold it. They were pretty excessive with the use of it. But then they learned that you had to cut it and things like that. Outside of that, I've never seen any crowd anywhere just utterly and massively and aggressively abuse a drug like people do cocaine in Palm Beach. And one of the horrible jokes about it was that the coke was awful. Weird mixture of speed and aspirin. And it became a matter of honor. You couldn't leave the house until whatever bag was brought in was finished. It's not a question of 5 grams an hour with 3 people. Chattering, screeching. Then have to go to court the next day. Sit there and get completely ruined and jabbering and raving and sweating and full of fear and in and out of pools and eating things all night, talking about Palm Beach justice. And then to make that weird shift to be in the courtroom at 10 o'clock with the same people you've just been in luck with all night long. Denying they'd ever heard about cocaine or knew each other for that matter. I just happened to be there, Your Honor. I don't know. I saw her once. That was me calling me out of the bedroom, but I did that all the time, watching the windows. And this went on for weeks. And, well, for me, it was a steady process of just getting crazier and crazier. And it got to be fun. I got to like people. I like them anyway. They were really, in terms of the kind of crimes you see all around us, they were innocent people. At least in Palm Beach, the rich have their own island with a lot of bridges. And they can do just about whatever you want out there and not hurt anybody else. And sometimes they launch forays of crazed rich people into the mainland. In the main, they stay on themselves and just get crazy out there. And it's kind of harmless, but it's, I guess the jump we had to make was to go across the bridge into West Palm Beach in the morning. It was like going to a different world. Like what you told me. All right, thank you again. That is good. There are random questions about the. Let's encourage this line.
The microphones are at the sides of the ballroom, so feel free to stand up and ask a question.
Where's Lazlo?
Dead. All right. Dead.
Okay, right over here to the right.
Yeah, I'd much prefer to write things like Fear Loathing. There's a part of me, what I like about politics is not so much writing it, but following it. It's an addiction. It's like gambling on cockfights or football. I enjoy following politics, but the idea now of going out on the campaign trail and covering every primary from now till June is, to me, really horrifying. But the interest in, it's almost a perverse interest. I'd like to see Gary Hart upset Mondale, for instance. Under different circumstances, it would be possible for Gary to win in New Hampshire. He has a McGovern problem, which is the final. Anytime George McGovern runs for president, he has my vote. He's one of the most decent and most human people I've ever run across in politics. But I don't think George has a chance of being the nominee. Gary does have a long shot chance. But in reality, I think we're looking at Mondale as a candidate, if only because of the primary process, which is going to make it difficult to change things after New Hampshire and that Super Tuesday. So, outside of the excitement, I think the real issue of this election is getting Reagan out of office. The president is the issue. Selfish reasons, even for the young Philanders League and the Fascisti here. Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about. And I don't even take it personally. I'm not sure what kind of position I would be in if it were proven to me and obvious that aggressive, kind of fruit-like, atavistic behavior by this country was maybe the best and most successful way to go. Profits would be up, everybody would roll over and hide from us, and then all the rest of the world respected us like they respect the dollar. But I believe there's a difference. I don't think people Arabs are buying dollars over here just because they like us. It's, I think, the example of Syria in the Middle East, which just decided to take us on. There was sometime in the past year or so, there was a meeting somewhere, probably in Damascus, and somebody said, well, those people are not as dangerous as we thought they were. Let's blow up their embassy. Let's blow up the Marines. Let's kill the president of Lebanon, see what they do. And someone gambled and won. And the rest of the world has noted that. And I think 4 more years of that could get us in the kind of trouble I don't really think we want, whatever kind of political persuasion we have. I believe that whether having the New Jersey the battleship over there shelling civilian areas with 16-inch guns is right or wrong, it's something we can put aside at the moment. But I think it's a bit of a stupid and dangerous thing to do. I don't think you can fight wars in the Middle East without being at least competent. And everything we've done over there has been a hideous joke. The Carter raid on Iran, where the helicopters crashed into each other, people were flying alive in the air. Just embarrassing. And I think that just as even the stock market recognizes the ineffective nature of this blundering around and pulling it out of pulling the Marines out and flying above it, the president hiding in Santa Barbara. These are all small things, I'm sure you've heard of. But they'd be funny if it only lasted for a week or so. But the idea that this giddy old man is going to run amok and after he's reelected. And we have to also face the fact that the Republicans don't need Reagan once he gets reelected. Right now he can do anything he wants. He can wander around in a jockstrap and why they would be in serious trouble if Reagan's temper or senility got out of control, because they wouldn't get elected. They did not elect George Bush on that sort of platform, and I doubt that Bush would run on it. He's the one who called Reaganomics voodoo economics a long time ago. Everything that has been said about Reagan, or is being said, has really been said before, and by people in his own party. But I really do think it's alarming that the change that will occur once and if he gets reelected. At that point, you see a whole shift in priorities. The party doesn't need him. He doesn't need the party. And I think it would be an orgy of profit taking of some sort. With the assumption being that probably a Democrat will win anyway the next time around. So it would be a sort of barricading the White House off and the Treasury Department and looting it. Massive profits, a variety of wars with Nicaragua. And Mexico is being mentioned now more and more as a possible target. You agree with that? Invade those bastards. They've caused us enough trouble. Well, the Russian ambassador mentioned missiles in Mexico. I heard this on TV one Sunday morning. Kind of a shock. You hear a Russian speaking very rationally about missiles in Mexico. I was thinking, where in Mexico now? And there's a difference between Tijuana and Veracruz. But, yeah, I think that's, well, Canada. We haven't been to Canada either. The Prime Minister came out of the White House and talked about his peace initiative. And the White House leaked a sort of backstairs statement that he was really a degenerate dope fiend anyway. And they had nothing to do with his peace plan because he was a freak, fool, and they said a smoker of dope. Right now. I like Trudeau, and I think he has been a good prime minister. I vote for Trudeau. Yeah, I wish he were president of this country.
Margaret.
Yeah. I saw her in Montreal recently, and she weighs about 200 pounds. It's unsettling.
Doctor, over here, to your left.
We're going to go right over here to the left.
Doctor, how did you get off the island in your last book? I was under the impression you were stranded there with your Hawaiian friend bringing you drugs and booze, and nobody wanted to see you. How did you get off the island?
Don't be the first person to ask that question. A lot of questions asked about that book. I really can't. I'm not free to disclose it. It's a no-win question for me. Thank you for asking it.
Any more books coming up?
Oh yeah, I'm waiting on another one now. I'm waiting on another one about Cubans and violence and the Keys. I seem to be getting more and more into Cubans, South America, and cocaine. Well, I've been that. I found that cocaine is far too dangerous a drug. No, it's not cocaine so much that's dangerous, it's the people who do it. Cocaine's been around for a long time. And as long as 1% of the population are just a simple coke fiend, that's fine. Then it's just an eccentric tick. Been around, it's like Negro musicians or something. It's common. But when 50% of the population turns into coke fiends, or even Negro musicians, that kind of qualitative, though, but it's quantitative. It's, or the people who are into 50% of the population drink gin all the time. There's nothing wrong with gin. But if I knew that half of you were seriously drunk on gin, and it was a 50-50 hate me too, yeah. How many people here are actually drunk right now? It's still only the game would change if 50 people, or 50% of you were real drunk. And that would make Jen a dangerous drug. I think as long as cocaine were restricted to the eccentric few like me, handguns and swords and things like that. As long as the few eccentrics carrying them around. It's all right when everybody's carrying swords and handguns or daggers, pints of gin and little bags of cocaine.
Able.
Yeah, I have any able to walk. Shoot, bastard.
Let's go over to this side for a question.
Doctor.
As an acknowledged expert in pioneering new fields of wasting away your leisure time, how do you cope with finally being bored with the basic 10 drugs? What recommendations do you turn to?
In terms of drugs or is alternatives? Oh, please, feel free to, don't feel like that. I turn to boats. And there's always violence, there's always booze. And there's always politics. Yeah, you're right, drugs have become, now that they're so widespread, and it's not really an adventurous thing to do. It's interesting sometimes, but it really becomes more of a habit. It's like drinking beer. Yeah, my own tour has been to move down to islands in the south, and you get in a lot of trouble with a fast boat if you don't know about the ocean at all. There are no lights on the ocean. And you know the roads, they're called channels. And they're just marked by extremely high poles mounted in concrete that if you hit, destroys the whole boat and kills you right away. And the other thing about down in the Keys, the water's so shallow that you have to get the boat up on a plane, which means going fast, in order not to hit the bottom and destroy your engine. So to go slow and wallow around is to get you in more trouble than just going at top speed with no lights on. Because you're driving from here to Bakersfield on roads at night that have no lights on. There are no street lights on the ocean. The boat has no lights. So you're just going at top speed in the darkness. You don't really need drugs to get high on the ocean.
Another question?
Yeah, I was rereading Boys in the Bag and The Scum Also Rises the other day, and
That's my favorite title in it. The most apt.
I was noticing the similarities between the Nixon administration and the present administration. Pardon me?
They were amateurs, Nixon's opinion, in terms of evil.
Knowing your affection for the Nixon administration, you once wrote that the combined jail sentences of Watergate conspirators would blow the minds of high school students for the next 100 years. But now, 10 years later, Watergate gets a 4-line paragraph in history books, and professors are saying Nixon was just any other president who got caught. What is this? This seems to be, and voters too, in the re-election of Reagan, they seem to have this forgetfulness. Are they just assholes? What is this? What is this? Do we get the president we deserve, like Adlai Stevenson said?
I think you've been both asked and answered the question. That's what I said with Jimmy Carter. That was true. I believe that the thinking of the Reagan administration is precisely that people don't want to have to to question the president's competence or their thinking is that he's better off appearing to be some combination of John Wayne and the Sun King, and not caring about what goes on, being in Santa Barbara when the Marines are being chased out of Lebanon. The assumption of this administration is that people, yes, would rather see that, would rather have a sort of symbolic monarch as a president than have some president like Carter who's constantly embroiled in details and staying up all night to planning invasions, and meanwhile letting hundreds of thousands of Cubans into the country. That was a madhouse. That was one of the highest kinds of confidence I've ever seen in politics. And I like those people when they were president. But the assumption is that what caused Carter the presidency was that he's perceived as being too busy, and he had sort of dirty his hands with the everyday business and politics, and that what the American people want is really somebody. That's true too. You do wonder why we are the only nation in the world that is just afflicted with every drug that comes along, is ever invented. Is taken up over here as a routine kind of habit by no nation in history of the world will be and has been as affected by waves of weird drugs as this one. We do use almost all of them, and I'm not sure that the French are certainly not free of the heroin problem, but they don't worry about it. The government doesn't worry about it. They don't have people prowling the streets all the time, locking up junkies. And they wonder why we're so alarmed about the drug imports from all over the world. And I think people in other countries are thinking, what the hell's going on over there? Why is the opium poppy such a problem in Washington? We don't care about it. That's a question that's going to be answered, I think, in the election, the presidential election. If given 6 months to expose himself more and more, shamefully, embarrassing. The president is not going to get smarter between now and he's not going to get any younger. He's not going to change his mind on anything. And there's no way they're going to be able to effect any sort of change, even with situations like the President, the Secretary of the Treasury, and the National Economics Advisor are almost getting in a fist fight in Congress over the deficit. We're in for a pretty bumpy ride to election time. I think what they had in mind in the White House was having all this thing come apart 6 months from now. The market crashing, wars in Iran and Mexico. Just let us get reelected first. I think this 11 they took them by surprise. And it was a signal. You hear these signals at night if you're a politics junkie like I am. And the phone rings, and it's people you haven't heard from a while. Everybody, after 4 or 5 hours of a night like that Lebanon crisis, you begin to get a sense from the people who call that there may be more fun in running against this president than we thought last week, that he can be beaten. And in fact, that's probably a perception of mine that hadn't been real strong until recently. I thought to my chagrin, whatever that's a bad word for it, but they seem to be so slick that no matter what I thought, they were still going to win by 60-40 or more. I don't think that anymore. I think they're not nearly as slick as we thought. And we took it for granted they were dumb, greedy, and mean. But it appeared for a while with, you could say, the case of Grenada, where they actually launched an invasion and made it appear that American power, military might, was not only effective but chic and colorful. I was in Grenada I spent about 6 weeks with the 82nd Airborne down there. And it was nice, it was wonderful. I think about 8 Marines were killed in combat-related incidents, and that happens every day on every exercise. One person a day is moderate. For something like, we should check the casualty figures for Big Pine too. That's taken for granted. In Fort Bragg, I think that's probably the case. Have you ever had to play with hand grenades and lambs and bazookas and landmines? People are going to be killed. Just learning how to do it. But, they did sell Grenada as evidence that the U.S. can still use the carrot and stick at the same time. But essentially, Grenada was a PR move to take attention off of the disaster that had happened in Iran 2 days earlier, when 239 Marines were killed by that one blast in the compound. The invasion of Grenada, which is essentially just another exercise that had been planned and rehearsed for a while, was done, and it was a very skillful move. It took public opinion, the public focus away from a genuine disaster in Lebanon. It had been since the Battle of Bull Run, or Iwo Jima, or maybe even Gettysburg, since that many Americans had been killed in combat in one day. And no single day in the Vietnam War were 239 American casualties taken. And within 24 hours, that was the focus on that was changed very skillfully to the peaceful and happy invasion of Grenada, 10-to-1 public approval. But it didn't last very long. We had to go back to Lebanon. That didn't go away. And I think it was George Will, the right-wing columnist who speaks for the White House, a nice guy and a smart guy, who said that what the administration has learned lately now is that if we're going to play around with the use of American military power in the world, we had better stick to places like Grenada. That comes from the president's, the man who helped him rehearse for the Carter debates in the 1980 election, which I think it's fine. I'm a good partisan myself in politics. But we just want to keep in mind that that's what George Will, a spokesman for the White House, has said. And that's pretty alarming. We can't use American military might anywhere except in, it's like saying invading India or some Serbian community. We simply can't take on the mean powers in the world if they're ready to take us on. So that's a change in things. It isn't as if we can, our final option is just to say, well, the hell with them, we can't even understand their goddamn language, man, pull the thing. And then they'll go away. Just their option, no. It won't go away, and the thing doesn't always work. So I believe this is a change in our attitude vis-a-vis the rest of the world. And it's going to be real different. Nobody in this country has ever assumed that we couldn't make our policies work and we couldn't scare the rest of the world into accepting them, whether they like it or not. That's changing now. And it's going to send a wave of nervousness across the country. During an election year, that's unhealthy. So,
We wanted to go over here for a question.
Dr. Thompson, considering you're the consummate political junkie, is there any chance of your repeating your 1970 run in Aspen for sheriff or any other higher office in Colorado?
well, I thank you. Hello, Bernie. Walter Mondale said he quit the presidential race maybe 2 years before, somewhere back in the 70s, saying he didn't have the stomach to run for politics. It was too ugly a business. He didn't want to run for president. It just dropped out, which I admired. And so have I. I've done that. But you notice that Mondale's running for president now. And I would hope that I would not get involved in politics physically. It's not nearly as much fun as to get involved in it in a more criminal way. I enjoy being part of the conspiratorial aspect of politics, but not not making, this is as much as close as I come to making a speech. I don't believe I've convinced a lot of you to go for it. That's what I was trying to do.
Okay, on this side, another question.
Doctor, you've been described as a world-class paranoid. I wonder
Calling?
My question is this due to your chemical recreation, or are there actually people after you, and who are they?
Anybody who undervalues the reality of paranoia in this world, to me, seems just a touch on the fade side. There is no such thing as paranoia. I've said that for years. It's just a matter of ignorance. The president really is what I've said he is. And these things are happening. And I think paranoia is just sort of an early warning system. I don't recall anything that takes something like Watergate, where he thinks the worst, and it turns out later that he really just had a bad dream, that the president isn't a crook, really. He just thought he was. And Agnew wasn't sitting in the White House taking wads of $10,000 bills and paying up from people sneaking in the back door of the office building. That James Watt was not insane. It's hard to get paranoid about James Watt. He beat you every time. You think he couldn't get any worse than this. My God, he can't sell the nation's coal supply. That's not the question. He can't sell the redwood. He can't sell the Santa Barbara Post. Yeah, he could. He wasn't some neighbor that got sunk into the administration. They heard him. He did his job. And his job was also, when he got so hot and so embarrassing, he was going to be dumped. That was a political move. The president never got outraged at James Watt. He was just no longer useful. That thing about Jews, cripples, and whatever, I don't think the president was bothered about it. It was politically unwise to have Watt around. And so they got more mileage out of the party. But Watt was an evil swine. Yeah, you did. You tell me what might be, what paranoia might consist of these days.
Is he still dangerous, or has he been pacified?
Well, that personally, I think he's got fun these days. His Supreme Court is dangerous, you know. And so will Ronald Reagan if he gets 4 more appointees in the next 4 years. Nixon did his damage with the court. That's changed the tribunal last final appeal in this country. To, you know what's going to happen to the Supreme Court. No, you don't take any more civil rights cases to the Supreme Court. You don't take any cases that might be Drano. I'm trying to go with the drug problem here. I don't. So excuse me? I might. Are you Moonies, right? How many are you? A bunch of Moonies. Hey, you don't have any. Yeah. We'll figure out the polo and do Amels for lunch. Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It all comes under the box right here.
I've listened to comments on the White House press corps in Grenada, and then assuming that the White House press corps is simply prostituted for the good of the administration.
People are talking about prostitution, right?
What do the American people have to do to get someone like you to cover the White House, at least for maybe a couple of weeks?
No way over. I would despise that personally. And
who's going to play by the American rules and not the administration's?
It's a higher calling, Hunter.
Well, I think that in the past 2 weeks, you've seen some of the sort of main cogwheels turn. I noticed
Cog or cog?
well, it's wheels, cogwheels. I'm just thinking of there are certain people in the media who sort of speak for the media. And politically, I think people like David Broder, Anthony Lewis, people Brinkley, Chancellor. There's certain voices that really say to do more than report to those. And I was disparaging myself. I noticed that after the president, a few months ago, I think his last press conference, had spoken twice in a matter of a week about his firm belief in the concept of Armageddon. And the book of Revelation, Vice gets excited about the drug problem and Mr. T and it's a degrading thing to see that statue in the White House wobbling around. I have no quarrel with Ronald Reagan's right to live in Santa Barbara, run horses, or even make stupid, outrageous comments on the national political stance. But to see him in the White House is embarrassing.
So you can go to the White House and cover it, right?
I guess the truth is I would, if I had to. I might do it for From politics, you get hung up on it, and you don't just go into the White House once. In order to get the proper attitude with them and stance, you sort of have to be around for a while. And it's not enough to go in there and say that, well, I know you're lying, or I know you're wrong. It takes a while to achieve that sort of balance with them where they know that they're wrong too. And when you see Larry speaks on TV, behind the president in the press conference, standing back over in this wing, for instance, while Reagan is staring out at the 200 reporters in the press room, and the story on Hunting Carter's press thing he does on PBS, they were talking about the White House staffers worried about the president being just a little bit, his attention span is not long. And he forgets his own cabinet people's names and people work for him. And that was just the thrust of the story. And basically they were saying the staff people have a hard time controlling the president. That's why they don't let him out in the press conference. Behind Reagan, over in this wing, where it's clear there's a camera up and that nothing he said. And it seemed to me that all the rest of the press people saw it. When he speaks like pointing at the president, who couldn't see him. And I thought, oh my God, who's in charge? Essentially, he's sort of a teenage punk who inherited the job from Brady, who's never even been appointed press secretary, on national television, giving a giant hook to the president. Not even the signal of the president. They could have flashed him on his beeper. He has various scrolls and things in front of him. But no, he speaks was talking to the cameras. Stop this. Cut this off. Don't let that bastard run anymore. It was shocking. It was like the Joint Chiefs turning in on the president. That's something you don't see. We're seeing signs here that are just not normal. The Secretary of the Navy saying utterly contradictory things. The president actually abandoning Washington and uttering a different policy than the one whatever somebody at the White House, refusing to admit that he's going to cut and run. This is what 6 months, 7 months away. Yeah, it may be necessary, or it might even be fun to see the fall of the House of Reagan.
If you did
brought down by its own weight.
If you did it, I think you'd find a lot of anxious readers.
Okay. Aren't you ready to collect a whole bunch of checks? I did my... I need a lot of stimulus to cover that way, though.
We have time for a couple more questions, so we'll go over to this side now.
About civility. Maybe you can go, right? Take your friend back to the...
The president is giving us the benefit of his wisdom. I do have a question. Do you think Jesse Jackson would be an effective running mate for Walter Mondale?
Black people are running for president. Only if Mondale needs Jackson to, if Mondale perceives he needs Jackson to beat Reagan. And for that to happen, Jackson's going to have to bring out a lot of votes and show very strongly, not in New Hampshire so much as in the southern states, the next primaries. That's how politics works. If Mondale beats Jackson in order to pick up 10% more or win 5 southern states, yes. I enjoy Jackson. I think he's brought a lot of life to the campaign. And crunch, I can still vote for governor. But I would not be surprised to see Jesse Jackson running with Mondale. But I wouldn't really anticipate it either, but I don't think that.
Bet on it?
I bet against it. Just because I don't think Mondale is going to need him at the convention. I don't think the Democratic race is going to turn into a two-man contest by then, where the 10% of the vote that Jackson could bring to Mondale would be decisive. You bet he'll be there if Mondale needs his 10%, and he can deliver it. I would be there. If I had 10%, I could deliver it. I would be vice president. But at the moment, I don't anticipate Mondale worrying that he won't be forced to make that deal. It wouldn't bother him. I think, that's how politics works. Though anybody who will bring them, as George Bush did with Reagan, he brought Texas into the fold. He brought some to the Eastern Republican money and respectability or patina of it. We can see Jesse Jackson as vice president if Mondale needs it. And meanwhile, I think Jesse brings a lot of, he elevates the level of the dialogue, as does McGovern, as Cranton and Cranston. As long as people like Cranston and Jackson, McGovern are in the race, it makes the others a little more honest. They can't get away with all the bullshit that they would normally throw at us. And in that sense, it's very valuable.
Okay, another question over here.
Hunter, let me allow me to set the scene for you. 1889, President Jesse Jackson has asked you to travel to the Soviet Union and represent America as a goodwill ambassador.
I'd be bored by the USI.
And in addition to that, he's asked you to head off a nuclear attack on Iran. But let me say one more thing. Sybil Shepherd has asked you, has invited you down to the Bahamas for a week-long Coke and Fun party. What will you do?
I would really agree to go to Russia and then go to the Bahamas anyway. Preliminary tour of the Russian situation, and I would retire to the Bahamas to wait the report of my envoy. And I would say that if he came back with the right message, I would then go from the Bahamas to Russia and settle the problem. If he came back with gibberish and bullshit, of course I'd stay in the Bahamas. That's about it. I think that's a smart thing to do.
Can I ask if you've ever been approached to make any of your work into a film? Would you ever consider that, or do you consider Hollywood scum?
Where the Buffalo? Yeah, where the Buffalo Road?
Yeah, excuse me, there was one. Where the Buffalo Road? Did you ever want to see any of your other works? Oh, sorry.
people, but
We'll take the last question from this side.
Yes, earlier you mentioned the proverbial carrot and stick in terms of relationship to Granada.
somebody's talking, I know that.
Turning that around a little bit, I was wondering if you consider sex with vegetables sodomy or just good nutrition.
Sex with vegetables. Something that's just a vegetarian health freak's version of the old cigar box full of liver. I don't know. Sex with vegetables. It sounds like desperation to me. I don't want to hear about that. That's like chicken, goat, whatever. Unless you know something I don't. Jesus Christ.